Tapping, or emotional freedom techniques, is a system where we tap on acupuncture points around the body. And it's a great way of, I suppose it works on two levels. It's great for dealing with top-line anxiety or stress, but it also works at a much deeper level in terms of dealing with things like negative beliefs, negative behaviors, dealing with past trauma. And it's one of the treatments that's been approved by the US military for the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. So it really can go very, very deep. And how does it work? How does it work? So we have all of these meridians of energy, these acupuncture meridians of energy that are flowing around your body. And if you hurt your foot or you hurt your ankle and you go to an acupuncturist, they will say, well, you've got a block in your energy system. They will put needles in different places around the body. It may take a couple of visits. And as they do that, it clears the block in your body so your meridians are free and the energy is flowing freely. So the blocks are completely gone. And it's the very same thing when we have a negative emotion. So if you think of, something that causes you to feel stress, you might get a tightness in your chest, or you might get a headache, or your stomach might lurch. So very physical reactions to negative emotions. So when you're experiencing negative emotion, we would also say that you have a block in your energy system. So you have these meridians of energy flowing around your body. And if you think about a particular work project, and every time you think of it, you go, oh my goodness, and you get a tightness in your chest. So it's like there's a river flowing around the body and there's a big tree has fallen down. And every time you think of this particular project, you go, oh, your stomach lurches or your head hurts. And you keep hitting this block. And what we do with tapping is we tap on a given set of points around the body. And as we do that, it shifts the energy block a little bit. And we keep on doing this until the energy is flowing freely around the body. The other thing that happens is what happens in the brain when we are tapping. So if you can imagine that this is your spinal cord, and then this goes up into your lower brain or your reptilian brain. And this is the part of the brain that governs breathing, heartbeat, digestion, all of the stuff that happens without us even having to think about it. That's all governed from this part of the brain, the reptilian brain or the lower brain. And then across the middle here, we have what's called the midbrain or the limbic system. And this is where long-term emotions and memories are stored. And it's also in this part of the brain that the amygdala is located. And this is part of the brain that is triggered when you feel stress or when you feel a negative emotion, and it starts the production of the stress hormone cortisol. So this all happens in the midbrain, the middle part of the brain. And then over the top, we have what's called the new brain or the neocortex. And this occupies most of the area of the human brain. And this area governs things like ration, reasoning, logic, creativity, counting, the ability to count numbers. All of this stuff is governed from this part of the brain. When we are stressed or when we have a negative emotion, one of the things that happens is that the blood goes from this part of the brain where ration and reasoning is stored. You literally flip your lid and it goes straight to this part of the brain. And the amygdala is then activated and it starts producing the stress hormone cortisol. So people literally, they flip their lid and sometimes they say when they're very stressed, I can't see the wood for the trees. And it's no wonder because the blood has gone from the part of the brain where ration and reasoning is stored and has gone straight to this part of the brain saying, danger, danger, danger. When we stimulate acupuncture points, what happens is that it sends a calming signal to this part of the brain, switches off the amygdala. The immune response genes are turned up, the inflammation response genes are turned down. And then also what happens is that the blood is diverted back to this part of the brain. So very often after a couple of rounds of tapping, people will say, I feel calmer, or I understand that now, or I see the situation clearly. So it really is very helpful in just kind of calming down the nerve system, calming down everything so that you feel you have more clarity, you're able to see things more clearly. And as I say, it works on many, many different levels. So you can use it, even just the act of tapping itself is going to have a calming effect on you. And then if you want to be more specific, then that's when we get into more about why are you feeling stressed or why are you feeling anxious, and then trying to get to the root cause of that. So I hope this video has been useful for you, and keep on tapping, and thank you for listening.